So one of the difference between tuple and every other data structure in Python is the ability of tuple to be immutable. By immutable, we are saying that the values cannot be changed, cannot be modified. And you may ask, why is that? The simplest answer is because of data security and data integrity. So you want to maintain data integrity, you want to maintain data security, and that is why tuple is immutable and is one that is different from the rest of other data structure. My name is Issa Jacob. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In my previous video, I talked about a list in Python. I discussed everything you need to know about list in Python. So today we will be discussing about tuple in Python. Now, tuple and list are similar, but unlike a list, a tuple is an ordered, immutable, and iterable collection of elements. Okay, that's a big English. So what I'm basically saying is that whatever whatever value or item you have in a tuple remain the way they are. You cannot change them. You cannot modify your values or the data that you have in your tuple. So a tuple cannot be modified once it is created. Okay, and then there are key things you should know when it comes to tuple. The first is, I've said that it is immutable. The second is tuple maintain their order of the elements. Okay, then tuple can take different data types. Okay, it can take a string, it can take a boolean, it can take an integer. All right, let's see in code how does it work. All right, so how do we declare a tuple? So we can declare a tuple. Let's say we are creating a fruit. Okay, the fruits. So we'll now do like this, and then inside this parenthesis we can now declare a tuple. So we have declared an empty tuple, as you can see. Now let's pass in value. So let's look at the fact that a tuple can take different data types. So we can have a string. So here I will say orange, okay, oranges or orange, pineapple, okay, what else, carrot, okay, and the list goes on. Now let's create a tuple that takes different data types. So we can call it, let's call it data underscore type, then equal to, then we have our parenthesis or bracket, as you may call it. Then we can have an integer like this. Okay, we can have an integer like this. Okay, then we can also have a string in the same place. We can say food here. Then we can also create another one, integer food. Okay, let's create a boolean. So we can have a true here. Okay, and also have false. Okay, and then we can also have a float. So in this case 9.0. Okay, so a tuple can take different data type, as you can see, and then a tuple can also be duplicated. Okay, so we can duplicate food. We can also duplicate these values here. Okay, so we can duplicate them like this. So this is how a tuple works in Python. Okay, a tuple is created with a square bracket, and inside the square bracket you pass in your values that you want to have in your tuple. And then a tuple can also have different data type, a string, a boolean, a float, an integer, and so on. Okay, and then each of these values maintain their order. Okay, they maintain their order. You cannot change once it is created. All right, so this is what you should know about tuple. Okay, as you journey with me, I'll show you how to manipulate tuple values. So let's look at the tuple methods. What are tuple methods? So tuple as a data structure in Python comes with a built-in method that we can use to manipulate data. take for example, we have a tuple, so I'll call this numbers. I'll call this variable numbers, and then I'm going to pass in 1 to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we have 10. Okay, so we have 10 integer value in this number variable. Now, if we want to call the method count, for example, what the method count do is that it returns the number of times a specific value appear in a tuple. So if for example we allow 8 to appear different times, so we are repeating 8, and then let's repeat another value. Let's repeat 3. Okay, let's repeat 3. Okay, so we can do something like this. Okay, now so we have values that are repeated in this tuple. Now if we now call the method count, what we are trying to say is come and check this value and tell us how many times it appeared in this tuple. So we can call our variable and say number dot count. Okay, when we call the dot count, then we can now pass in a value, okay, that we are going to check how many times it appeared. So in this case, we can say we can create a variable for it. Let me create a variable for it and let's use it. Let me just call this variable f, and then when I print f, okay, and then I run it, we should be able to have 3. Why? Because the value 8 appear 3 times, and that is what we are seeing here. Okay, if we put 3, for example, if we put 3 here, it's going to tell us how many times 3 appear. So you can see it's telling us that it's appearing 7 times, as you can see here. Okay, so this is how the dot count method works. Now the next one I want us to look at is the index method. So what does the index method do? It returns the index, which is the position of our value. Okay, so if we want to find the index of a particular value, all we need to do is to specify the index. So how do we do it? We can just create a variable. This time around I'll call that variable index for us to understand. Index equal to, then I'll call our numbers, and then I'll do dot index, and then I'll now pass in the number we are looking for. Okay, so I can now pass in. So which value are we looking for the index? Okay, let's look at the index of our 1 here. So if we pass in 1 here, okay, and we print index, oh, we are having 0. Why? Because every value in a tuple begins with index 0. So our 1 here is index 0, our 2 here is index 1, our 3 here is index 3, our 3 here is also index 4. So if we also pass in 3, for example, it's going to return for us. Okay, if we pass in 3, it's going to return for us the first occurrence. Okay, the first one he's seeing here is what is going to return to us, and in this case it is index 2. Okay, so you can see it here. So index 0, index 1, index 2. Okay, the same way if we pass in 8, it's going to tell us the index of the first value here. Okay, it's going to tell us the index of this first value here. So when we pass in 8 here, if we say 8 here and we run our code, it's going to print 13 for us. Okay, so 13. Okay, so that is why we are having index 13. So the index tells us where our item or value is in our tuple. Now the next one I want us to take a look at is the concatenation. What does concatenation mean? To add, okay, 2 or more tuples together. Okay, and we can do that by having, say, my underscore string, and then I'll say equal to, and then I open our tuple, and then I can pass in string value. So here I'll say John, here I'll say Amaka. Okay, Amaka here. Then here I will say Cheesy. Okay, I don't know who is Cheesy.